everybody, this is Amador Mendez from Blindside Boxing, and you're watching the 411 Experience.
Welcome to the 411, home of the truth. What's going on, everybody? It is your host RJ with the 411, and I'm live here in Austin, Texas. And you know it wouldn't be right if I didn't come to Austin and I stopped by and see Mr. Siego, the man of the community, who's really putting it down here, man, in the boxing world. You know, so I had to come by and say, "What's up, man? How you doing?"
Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming to see me.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
We're here at Blindside Boxing Academy, Austin, Texas.
Yes.
We're subleasing from Reynosis Boxing, so they're our hosts here. All right, but they're the heart of this Blindside Boxing Academy.
Definitely. So I want to start by saying this. I noticed that you have a lot of kids here. You know, you're starting them real young. So tell us about that and that program that you're doing.
Well, yeah, we start kids probably as early as the age of 5 or 6, if they can keep a 45-minute attention span, and we pick them up. It doesn't matter what skill or really what skill, size or anything like that, or shape. You know, we take them all. You know, it's a grassroots program. We teach them from the ground up. That means the footwork, the way, moving the waist, the head, and then we teach all the punching. Everybody wants to learn how to fight, but nobody wants to learn how to not get beat up. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Nobody wants to
themselves,
exactly.
Right?
The defense is very important. So I teach my kids not to get hit. We might not win everything, but we're never getting beat up. I'll tell you that.
That's right. Exactly. Because I heard you say something earlier. You said amateur fighting is about points.
Yes, sir.
Not about the yes. So explain a little bit about that, because I found that to be very interesting.
Well, you know, it's kind of like a contradicting thing, you know, because it's more like amateur boxing is more like a very violent tag.
For sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Touch and go, touch and go, touch and go, and you know, we're definitely for that, because that's what takes us to the Olympics. But at the same time, I personally don't like it completely, because the goal is to go to the Olympics, and the goal is to transfer for the Olympics to the pros. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what the ultimate agenda is,
right.
And the ultimate agenda is to become world champions. Okay.
Right.
And at one point or another, you have to be able to transition from the amateur style to the pro, and not all elite amateurs make it in the pros because of the too much touch and go or whatnot. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, when in Rome, we got to do as the Romans. Right. So therefore, in amateur boxing, I got to teach them how to make the points. Sometimes you'll see a kid completely dominate a fight physically, because the other guy touched him a little bit more or was a little bit more active. We lose the fight. I saw my kid win, but the judges didn't, because he wasn't playing the game of tag. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I have to teach him that.
Definitely. So I was going to say, with your son, you started him very early, around the same age as these kids. How old was Amador when he started? Was it 5, 6?
I was around 6 years old.
Okay.
All right. I searched multiple gyms or places to get him involved with it.
Okay.
I couldn't find that, so I took on the role myself. You know what I mean? I had a little bit of boxing background as a kid, just more passion. Mm-hmm. No real experience. And I put him with a couple trainers here and there, but I had something that they didn't have, and that was dedication. They didn't have the interest. They didn't have the time.
Right.
So I took it upon myself. I found a gentleman, Coach Domingo, rest in peace. He passed away. And he told me, he's like, you know a lot about boxing, whether you believe it or not. I believe you should become a coach. Right. And he pushed me into becoming a coach. And I started with my son, and kids started to gravitate towards us. Mm-hmm. I really didn't want to feel like I was overworking my son.
Right.
And I also didn't want him to lose the camaraderie of being a child. So I said, let's involve other children. Let's get them involved. Let's bring them in. So now let's bring your friends into the boxing gym.
Right.
And now your friends, instead of being out there, they're in here with us.
Right.
And next thing you know,
I love that formula, because that was my next question. You know, you have to, discipline. It takes them away from being a child to some degree, right?
Yes.
But the key to that, the bright side, you said we're going to invite your friends and other kids. You made it fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we try to make it fun because at one point or another, it became serious.
Well, it
became serious.
Yeah, because it's not a game.
It's not a game. You know what I mean?
Game.
And that's what I had to teach myself, and that's what I had to teach them.
Right.
And teaching an 8-year-old child the art of fighting. Okay,
Right.
people disregard boxing as a martial art. It's definitely a martial art. You know what I mean?
Right.
But because it's a minority sport, and we won't get too deep into that.
Right. All the politics on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we have to turn little 8-year-olds, boys and girls,
Right.
into little warriors. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
by the time they're 17, 18 years old, and if they haven't gone pro, they at least have the discipline to see something through. And a lot of kids, a lot of minorities, we end up going to the military and whatnot.
Right.
And I tell a lot of the parents, it's like, hey, if your kid chooses to go that route, our goal is for him to be in the elite level.
Right.
Okay. And we've actually proven that, because some of the kids that didn't choose to go to college,
That's right.
didn't know what to do, that ended up going to the armed forces that I coached.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm the elite here. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? They can't keep up with me.
Right,
You know what I
because
mean?
they have the discipline, they have the confidence, they have the voice.
Yeah.
Right.
So they've been soldiers since 8 years old.
Exactly. No, I love that, man. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about your son.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's having an amazing career. You know what I mean? And I had the opportunity to talk to him earlier. One of the things that I found fascinating about him is his aggressiveness in the ring. It doesn't matter how tall they are, how short they are, he's coming at them. You know, and I was telling him he has a hell of a left hook, and he's got that uppercut that he always manages to find a way to squeeze it in. And when they least expect it, all you see is the head bobbing back. And I told him, I said, are you looking for a knockout? And he said, no, not necessarily. I'm just looking to get a hit. I'm just looking to hit. And I was like, that's a great point.
Yeah,
You know?
I've taken him all over the country to with the amateur events and sparring or whatnot. And when we were in Las Vegas, he was supposed to have a debut with the MGM Grand, and it did not happen.
Okay.
Our opponent backed out last minute, so he was pretty upset with that. So I took him to the major gyms in Las Vegas, and he had to work with different guys, and he was very upset that day. So he was unleashing his energy,
yeah,
you know,
his
the frustration of not fighting. And there was a lot of gentlemen watching. We didn't know who they were. It turns out they were somebody, and they were calling him El Francotirador. They were calling him the sniper. Okay, that was their nickname for him that day, because they said where he puts his eye, that's where he puts the bullet. So
Right.
just like he said, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking to land that punch. And if you listen to the commentary of the last fight on Pro Box TV, you can hear Coach Robert Garcia, which is, I guess, ranked the #1 coach in the world right now,
Right.
Robert Garcia. And they were talking about his accuracy. You know, he's
Right.
accurate, you know, throughout the fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's very important. You know what I mean?
So tell us about some of the people that he had the chance to spar with. I heard he sparred with Ryan Garcia, you know, and
Yeah, we had the opportunity to spar multiple professionals.
Yeah.
That's how we decided for him to go pro. Okay,
Right, exactly.
You know, a lot of kids, you know, will get frustrated with the amateurs,
For sure.
and they want to go pro real quick. You know,
Right.
and it's like, well, what makes you seem to go pro if you can't handle the amateurs? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So our test was to say, you know what, you didn't make it to the Olympics, so let's try to find some good pros to put you up against. Well, those opportunities came very, very quick with the loss of Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis.
right.
And then we walked onto his camp and became one of his main sparring partners.
Wow.
So we helped him for Oscar Duarte, which I feel that camp, even though we weren't in the Devin Haney camp or the camp for Devin Haney,
Right.
but we prepared him for what was coming with Devin Haney.
Oh, right.
Okay,
Okay.
because my son
Okay.
doesn't necessarily fight like Oscar Duarte, but he fought more like Devin Haney.
Right.
So he knocks out Oscar Duarte due to my son's help, and
Right.
of course he does what he does with Devin Haney, which is still controversial based on the feds or whatnot. But
Right.
after that, we have the opportunity to spar multiple rounds with Shakur Stevenson.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I can't tell you how it went, but let's just say that my son came out with a smile on his face.
Right. Enough
Okay.
said. Enough said.
You know,
So-
I'm very, very proud of that.
As you should, man. Congratulations on that, man. Because I know you work hard. I mean, I had a chance to really talk to you. So and also know too, man, you're a busy man on your own. Like
I'm very busy.
your kids are all talented and they have their own rising careers, but you yourself, and I won't get too much into it, but man, how do you manage to keep multiple businesses and all these endeavors and still put the time into this? Where do you find the time to prioritize your circumstances?
Honestly, my circumstances are nothing to brag about right now. You know, everybody wants to keep up the appearance nowadays of being successful. But without any failures, there is no success.
That's right.
Okay? So somehow, by the grace of God, I'm managing. You know, I think, call it karma, I guess you would say. Maybe I got a lot of things to pay back, and that's why I'm struggling. But at the same time, because of trying to make sure that I never burn any bridges or try to avoid burning bridges,
Right.
I have the right people behind me that when misfortunes happen,
They lift you up.
they lift me up the same way. You know what I mean?
lift you up, yeah.
Basically, it's our team. It's our network.
There you go.
We don't. Earlier, I was talking about the kids being soldiers. We call them the Blindside Battalion. Okay, so that's what we have here. The Blindside Battalion consists of absolutely everybody that is backing us up, down to
Right.
giving us a like, giving us a follow,
That's
down
it.
to the bartenders that are working at the bar late night,
That's right.
down to the tattoo artists that put in work,
That's right.
down to my brother Indio, the Blindsider.
Yes.
Great coach and man, he's holding down the battalion here. He's
That's
our
it.
he's our general here. So
Okay.
me, I wouldn't say I'm retired, but I'm pushing paper in the back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
While
Right.
he's traveling with the children and taking them all over the country, and he's continuing the missions. You know
Your
what I mean?
mission, yep. The goals and the,
Yeah.
and the legacy.
And I guess it's really persistence, perseverance. You know, never
All day.
giving up. That's
All
really
day,
the secret
yeah.
of success.
Absolutely, it is, man. But I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you for allowing us to come in and, into your world and to show our viewers the inside scoop of what it's like when you're disciplined and you're determined to achieve things. You got to put that work in, right? That's all. That's really what it's about, man.
Yes, sir.
So, last thing, and I'll get out of here, man. What do you see happening within the next year or so? Because I really see man. I see some big things, man, especially in the boxing world.
I see some major things happening for us, because everything that goes up must come down and vice versa.
That's right.
And if we've been on a up and down roller coaster ride right now.
Yeah.
Right now, tomorrow we're traveling to California. My son's going to be sitting ringside for the Lester Martinez fight, which is the new Guatemalan sensation, which happens to be in the Canelo Alvarez weight class.
That's right.
Which was Terrence Crawford's sparring partner.
That's right.
So Terrence Crawford had a very good sparring partner to beat Canelo.
Yep.
All right, and this gentleman is in the same weight class. So by this weekend, that gentleman is going to become world champion. That'll be the first Guatemalan world champion ever. And of course, my son is Guatemalan
That's
as well.
what I'm saying.
So my son's gonna kick. That guy's gonna crack the door. My son's gonna kick the door open.
Exactly.
Okay.
So come walk
And after
right
that, the
through.
whole battalion's walking in after
Right,
that.
everybody will be knowing the Guatemalan pride and spirit.
That's right, that's
Man, listen, everybody, like, follow, share, support. This man right here is doing some great things for the community, not with just his family, but also the other kids around too. So make sure you guys come and support.
That's right. Keep an eye for my nephew, Saul Indio Garza.
Yes.
He's going to be having his up-and-coming professional debut April 4th in San Antonio, Texas. All right?
There you have it, man. Appreciate you. Once again, it's your host, RJ, with the 411 Experience. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Talking done, boy, when the wolves come out. Watch the fade away and Reggie when it comes to shooting. Heart pace unleashed, flesh from scar to running straight through them. Man, crazy with the tools, no power patrol. Die slow as the world turns, drama light show. The catacombs and grave remains propane with they head blown. How you got syphilis on the brain, no botch, no go. Let me whisper in your ear, you should have found Jesus. Record skipping, soul gone, pine box with the fresh creases. No leasing, cinemass, turned you paraplegic. Oil's leaking out on the concrete, burning transmission. Unexplained mystery, what you think you solving? Better check the dental records if you can't card them. Pharma prescriptions I'm prescribing is known to harm them. There's a really loud bang when the volume